Bine v-am regăsit la un nou video. Astăzi ne uităm la cea mai adâncă gaură de conspirații de iepure de pe internet. The Internet's Deepest Rabbit Hole de la Nexpo. A scos regele Nexpo clip nou și știți bine, când Nexpo scoate clip trebuie să ne uităm. Puneți-vă bine pe spate că o să ne uităm la pic. Damn! Deja începe bine. I love Nexpo, bro. Am jucat jocul ăla, am jucat jocul ăsta, am jucat jocul ăsta și tot încerc să-l găsesc. Cum se numește? Cum se numește? Deci este un joc unde intri pe un server la ceva shooter făcut de cineva. Și shooterul ăla tot îi duci back and forth și de fiecare dată devine tot mai ciudat. Cum se numește, că l-am jucat și vreau să-l joc încă o dată? Cine știe? L-am jucat. Avea lor crazy, da.
Saturday.
Damn, vocea asta care te unge pe suflet, bro. Nexpo cred că are cea mai bună voce. El, Nick Crowley și bineînțeles PD. Și nu vorbesc de PD.
Wildfires are decimating Hawaii. The Barbenheimer phenomenon is in full force. And over in an unassuming corner of cyberspace, someone creates a YouTube channel with an urgent call to action.
This matter is of utmost
No player online. Bravo.
survival of every living being on this planet.
It's called the Earth Save Science Collaborative, and it's hosted by a man named Alan Agon Shalakian. On his channel, we
Nu se poate despre chestia asta! E video. What the fuck? Destiny Schizo Arc. Bro, Destiny Schizo Arc. Deci trebuie să ne uităm, e incredibil. Și eu voiam să fac video despre chestia asta, legit. Și eu voiam să fac video despre chestia asta. Destiny Schizo Arc cu Egon Cholakian.
find
Insane.
over 180 videos of this man warning people about global issues like climate change, nanoplastics, and disinformation campaigns. Admittedly, while these are all issues that are plaguing the world, the way Agon is framing them is a bit odd. In every single one of his videos, he sits in front of a camera dressed in a suit, goes on about his various accolades, and spends anywhere from around 30 minutes to 3.5 hours fear-mongering about things like geophysical anomalies inside the Earth's core that, upon doing further research, appear to have little to no basis in scientific fact. According to Agon, if humanity doesn't unite to solve this global threat, then the end of the world is quite literally just a few years away.
Bro, două microfoane. De ce are două microfoane, unul sus, unul jos, în fiecare video? Pentru ce are două microfoane? Unul de backup?
On his website, earthsavesciencecollaborative.com, we can find a section that gives us insight into his cause. And at a cursory glance, we can notice a plethora of colorful phrasing formatted in bold.
Bă, keep in mind, chestiile astea sunt înainte de AI. Bro, înainte să existe gen AI-ul așa mass marketed și chestii de genul. Și uite-te și tu, bro. Deci, uite-te la el. Arată de parcă a fost făcut acum gen de Sora. De ultimele modele de Sora. Noi n-aveam AI, ei aveau. That's a good point. Dar, totuși.
This global threat, then the end of the world is quite literally just a few years away. On his website, earthsavesciencecollaborative.com, we can find a section that gives us insight into his cause. And at a cursory glance, we can notice a plethora of colorful phrasing formatted in bold for dramatic effect. Agon claims that there are alarming anomalies. There's a chaotic acceleration of the planet's rotation, that humanity only has a few years to avert an impending catastrophe. And upon taking a look at their scientific papers, he makes bizarre claims about an external and unknown cosmic force that's causing all of this.
What?
Now, to me, this entire movement comes off as conspiratorial. Agon, in my opinion, consistently instills urgency in the reader, distort science-backed evidence to fit his narrative. And given that he appears to be someone so ingrained in academia and the government, is feigning credibility while banking on the hope that you won't ever verify his claims.
Cu femeia asta! Wow! 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 O să vedeți. Cine nu știe despre ce vorbesc, wow! Țineți minte femeia asta, da? Uitați-vă la față ei bine și băgați-o la cap.
But okay. So we found a channel on YouTube with a random old guy that uploads crazy videos about an impending calamity that could happen in as little as years. Why exactly are we giving this guy attention? And what truly is the big deal here? Well, while in any other circumstance I would have moved on before this video even started, there was one simple thing that kept me here. His hands.
His hands. His hands. Le are așa în fiecare videoclip. În fiecare videoclip le are așa, nu?
Online, people have noticed that in certain videos, Aegon doesn't move.
Clipuri de 3 ore 34 unde nu se mișcă absolut deloc. Nu-și mișcă un deget și mereu are mâinile în aceeași poziție.
And while it's such a simple, silly observation, it's effectively morphed what was supposed to be just a random internet anomaly into one of the strangest and most perplexing internet rabbit holes that I have ever seen.
Crazy, bro.
We'll return after these messages.
Alright guys, before we continue, just a quick story time. Alright, so as you guys may know, my wife and I had our baby girl in December, and we found ourselves faced with something we weren't quite prepared for, finding her a doctor. Not only that, but...
Dad, I'm sorry. Love you next post, sorry.
Government AI-generated fake YouTubers are now a thing, and they're super scary. Hi guys. Recently I found a video on YouTube about Destiny doing some research and some weird things, and...
Da, auzi, de ce ai vrea tu ca guvern să faci niște YouTuberi care să fie AI generated, ca să ce? Să propagi propagandă în legătură cu ceva? Știi ce zic? Adică de ce nu ai angaja un om real cu background să-i dai o grămadă de bani, că tu până la urmă ești guvernul, da? Poți să-i dai o grămadă de bani, îl bagi într-un deal din care nu poate să iasă, sau bagi un om direct care deja e în deal-ul ăla din care nu poate să iasă, it's over for him. Și e mult mai efectiv din punctul meu de vedere decât să fie AI.
one thing caught my attention.
I mean, de ce nu ai luat direct un om? Ești guvernul cu aia, ești CIA, dracu, ești nebun, pula mea, serviciile secrete, come on!
This dude named Aegon Chalakian.
Alberto donated 2 euros. Red te iubesc și ambani acum.
Ne pup, Alberto, și eu te iubesc, brodere. Exemplu CG? Exact.
Is supposed to be a person with a lot of influence in the US government, but he never existed, and everything about him is just odd or weird in some way. He has a YouTube channel in which he...
Rookie cu 50 de cărămizi, te pup, bună seara, Dischi și Dia și chat, a venit salariul azi, să ajung acasă de la lucru, s-a intrat la facultă. Bravo, 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 Rookie, bravo. Congrats. Big time. Hai să avem sport la stream. Mersi mult, Rookie. Double în chat pentru Rookie. Thank you so much. Ai venit, perfect, pe momentul perfect. Ne uităm la un video pic.
Directly to a camera, speaks a bunch of nonsense about geopolitical stuff, and does not move. I'm being serious. This guy sits for 3 hours without moving his hands. All across the internet, we can find him.
What the fuck is this?
On LinkedIn, Facebook, research archives, and photographed with countless major public figures in governments and academia. Aegon, according to his Facebook and LinkedIn profiles, carries a highly decorated resume, having studied at numerous prestigious institutions like Harvard, MIT, and Stanford. And while this looks impressive, he notes that he somehow attended these universities at the exact same time. Now, as we know, anyone
What?
can put anything on a LinkedIn profile, and given that his accolades are so incredibly out there, it's possible that some, if not all of his social media claims are bogus. On top of this, if we perform a search for Egon Shalakian on the internet, we'll find that hardly any of his actual research comes up. For someone so ingrained, so well networked, you would think that this man's work would be everywhere. But aside from his own profiles, paid articles he himself submitted to the press, and videos from his YouTube channel,
Are mâinile diferite aici. Are mâinile diferite aici.
little, if anything, is out there. It seems that all we have are a myriad of images depicting Aegon with
Oh my
public
God.
figures. However, upon looking at them closer, even these seem
Oh my god, imaginile, bro. Na.
strangely uncanny.
Therealred. E sober stream ăsta, dar la ce video ne uităm acum, mai bine nu eram sober. Ce birou clean. Eu n-aș putea. Bro, imaginile, bro. What
He
the
can be
fuck
seen
is that?
photographed with former CIA Director Stansfield Turner, but it looks...
What?
This one's with a Harvard colleague named Robert Merton, but what's going on here?
Bro, ce e asta, bro? Ce e asta? Ce e asta? Are un cap care iese din cap. N-au fețe. Și uitați-vă la cărți. Uitați-vă la cărți. Uitați-vă la cărți.
Okay,
Hai, arată
okay.
cărțile.
What about this one?
Dar nu arată cărțile. Uitați-vă la cărțile de pe raft. Nicio carte de pe raft nu are nume. Nu are text. Unele au doar hieroglife pe ele, să mor eu. Hieroglife. Nicio carte nu se poate înțelege, bă, niciuna, bă, niciuna. Niciuna. Niciuna.
Harvard colleague named Robert Merton, but what's going on here? Okay, but what about this one? This one
V-am zis, femeia asta. Țineți minte femeia asta. E crazy.
looks normal, but no. Hold on.
E crazy, bro. Uite la femeie. Uite la femeie, da? Bro! Bro!
Aegon Shalakian has fabricated a massive network of images depicting endless aspects of his life that never happened. This is why he's garnered such an infamous reputation. The bizarre,
Bro.
nonsensical LinkedIn timeline, the unnatural ability to sit still for over 3 hours at a time while professing absolute nonsense, and the photos. His entire online presence rests in the uncanny valley.
E Uncanny Valley 100%. Auzi, zice cineva pe chat, e coincidență. Da, mă, e coincidență, să mor eu, e coincidență. Bă, mai mare coincidența decât să stai la fel, aceeași expresie centimetru cu centimetru, milimetru cu milimetru, în două poze complet diferite și același poziție cu corpul, părul să stea la fel, fiecare zi fir, e mai mare posibilitatea când se ciocnesc două, îți pui tu așa mâinile să ai atomii aliniați, să-ți intre mâna prin mână, așa. E mai mare posibilitatea să existe backrooms decât chestia asta.
Given how proficient AI has become at spoofing entire personalities online, this left many across the internet wondering if this could be what's going on here. Is Aegon Shalakian, proficient researcher, world-renowned scientist, and highly decorated alumnus of numerous prestigious universities, even a real person? Or is this one of the most involved examples of the dead internet theory that we've ever seen?
Bro, iubesc videoclipul ăsta, e insane. E crazy că cineva a făcut documentar despre chestia asta cu Egon Chalakian. E crazy.
On Aegon's channel exists a documentary called The Impact, and in it, we can hear an AI George Washington calling the audience to action against a so-called foreign enemy. It goes on to fearmonger about impending civil war, so-called anti-cult organizations that oppose him, and it puts forth various potential scenarios about the end of the world. It is, for all intents and purposes, complete AI slop, and weirdest of all, it goes on for 8 entire hours.
8 ore.
If you click around this video, you will learn nothing. It's just a bunch of random propaganda
Are 1.9 mii de dislike-uri.
wrapped up in vernacular that simply goes on in circles. Yet, even so, surprisingly, this video has found an audience.
Ai văzut că nici ochii lui n-au ochii lui reflexie? Trebuie să mă uit,
Thank you to all that stood up to protect our Constitution and our rights. Yeah, by the way, it's so nice to see actual journalism for a change. You all didn't have the complete story. The rabbit hole goes much deeper. This is 8 hours long, and you're saying we don't have the complete story? What?
Crazy.
So I'll just go forth and say it. I refuse to believe that anyone on planet Earth has had the willpower to sit down and attentively watch all 8 hours of this, much less consider it journalism. As we can see, these comments all come from those with randomized usernames, empty YouTube channels, not a single profile picture. It appears that the only ones here are bots, a revelation that does not help Aegon's case.
We're going a little bit deeper, okay? In chat, somebody brings up a YouTube video
N-au pus partea asta de la Destiny.
of this guy.
Mare terminat Destiny ăsta, da, e crazy videoclipul ăsta, efectiv.
Is Aegon Chalakian. I am an intelligence educator. I prepare intelligence personnel for clandestine service. The focus of my career has been centered on the intelligence community of national.
As this mystery made its way across the internet thanks to a live stream by Destiny, it led many to scour for traces of him online. It quickly became clear that nearly all media involving Aegon Chalakian involved him speaking in front of a camera. His entire image was incredibly manicured, overproduced, and for a while, it seemed like there was nothing out there that could truly humanize him. But right when people were keen on throwing this entire mystery away as just another case of AI-generated nonsense, a random pandemic-era video depicting a Zoom call, of all things, found its way into the spotlight.
What? Ce e asta, bro?
Hey there again.
How you doing?
Well, how about yourself?
Just peachy. I figured I'd step in early
Ce? E real! E real!
and just hang my hat.
Awesome. Fabulous. We have some people that are just kind of hanging out here. The judges are deliberating. The pitches took a little bit less time than we had planned for since we had...
What?
And so, there we have it. Aegon is just peachy. And he's a real person. Turns out that this guy pulled a Stephen McDaniel and somehow sat still for 3.5 hours, which is weird, but okay. So that's all this is then, right? A conspiracy theory YouTube channel run by an old man doctoring photos of himself and over-embellishing his achievements to make him seem more legitimate than he is. Someone who, admittedly, seems pretty nice according to this call. And someone who found himself ensnared in an online conspiracy about his very...
donated 2 euros. Brode se simte asa ilegal ca ne uitam la video las.
Jur. Bă, zici că am descoperit ceva ce nu trebuia descoperit, așa se simte videoclipul ăsta.
existence. Completely
Bro, ăsta e primul larper.
out of nowhere. reason I do what I do is because of mysteries just like this. Creepy internet anomalies that we can investigate and solve with a logical conclusion. Aegon has fabricated an entire online persona, and admittedly, it was an engaging investigation. So, thank you
Dar de ce? Dar de ce? But why? De ce ai face chestia asta, gen?
guys so much for watching. Something is wrong. All throughout Aegon's comment section, we'll notice the same commenters spread out across his uploads. And upon taking a look, interesting. What's going on with this?
Creative Society.
Representatives of the Creative Society delivered a substantive presentation addressing one of the most pressing issues that has long been the subject of my research and concern for many years.
Weird, but okay. What the hell's the Creative Society?
Creative Society.
There it is, again. Okay, I'm not trying to be tinfoil hatty, but there are way too many oddities taking place with this channel. Every single comment supports Aegon. They seem to heavily lean Russian. They all connect in some way to something called Creative Society. And upon closer inspection,
Uite-l,
why
uite-l,
is
uite-l!
Aegon on their website?
Uite-l!
From what it seems, Aegon Shalakian isn't just a one-man show.
Dacă Made by Society este brandul din spatele la tot. Dacă Made by Society este brandul lor de haine, gen.
It's a group. So who in the world are these people?
Here's a typical morning routine as someone who owns 11 pets.
Și era vagabond înainte și s-a transformat în Made by Society când a intrat în Creative Society.
Okay, I've been
Haine făcute din părul lui Egon, de-aia n-are păr.
making this
Că
brown
le-a folosit pe toate ca să facă haine Made by Society.
Here's a typical morning routine as someone who owns 11 pets.
Okay, I've been making this brown sugar mocha dalgona lately. Nescafe is helping me.
November 7th, 155 miles per hour winds
AI
has
toți ăștia,
wiped
îs
out
AI.
80%
Nu
of the
sunt
city.
oameni.
It is what all people want. We've been conducting a lot of
Nu-s oameni.
surveys for several years.
No day without informing
Asta e
about
eu.
Creative Society.
It is not some saintly cult. The Creative Society is all of humanity. And when I say all, it means all.
What? Bro, cum o filmat un
Making
monitor
its
în
way
apă?
onto every social media algorithm across the vast ocean of the internet is an idea. An idea that, on the surface, sounds idyllic, the sort of thing you'd hear in, let's say, a dream. The long-awaited arrival of a future we were promised, yet never came, and one that'll radically transform the lives of everyone that chooses to follow it. It goes by the Creative Society, and it's spilling out onto TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, really anywhere with an audience online. Take a look around, and chances are you'll find it. Front and center on their website, we're greeted with oddly familiar dialogue. Today, as the global community faces an increasing threat of natural disasters, the pursuit of security and sustainability has become fundamental for everyone. This situation requires immediate and decisive collective action. Just like the Earth Saves Science Collaborative, we're confronted with a conveyor belt of ideas, videos, and scientific reports that scaremonger about many of the same problems that Aegon told us about earlier. Nanoplastics, catastrophic earthquakes, an increase in turbulence in the Earth's atmosphere. It honestly sounds like a complete rehash of the exact same information, So much so that when I was digging through this, I found myself wondering why they even bothered creating another site at all. Upon heading over to their About page, we're given somewhat of an answer, as the site goes from a retread of familiar information to something completely out of left field. According to the wall of information before us, the Creative Society is more than just a bunch of scientists peddling dramatic theories about climate change. It's an international project uniting volunteers from over 180 countries, aka most of the world, with the goal of transitioning in a legal and peaceful way within the shortest possible time to a new creative format of society worldwide. Further down, they go on to reveal that their aims include eradicating climate change, which they believe is caused not by humans, but cosmic forces, as well as miraculously putting an end to all wars. They guarantee that under this new system, all adults will receive a universal basic income every month and an extra $100,000 upon the birth of their first child.
Crazy!
Free healthcare will exist across the world. Travel without restrictions. The eradication of all debts, mortgages, and taxes. And all.
Păi ești nebun, păi în cazul ăsta dacă primești 100.000 la primul copil, 200.000 la al doilea și așa, păi când n-ai bani faci un copil. La al 10-lea copil primești 1.000.000.
All of this can be achieved if we simply follow their lead and unite under the Creative Society. Now, this clearly all sounds way too good to be true. Much like how Aegon came off, it feels completely outlandish and conspiratorial. To be honest, it feels like the Creative Society has more in common with something like a religion, or perhaps even.
My neighbor in my house, like, if I'm facing out the guy to my left, he is a cult leader. He has this cult called the Creative Society.
Shut
I
up.
swear to God.
What did they do?
They're like a doomsday, kind of like they're a doomsday cult, but they're like eco-doomsday. So they think that we're in the end of humanity, and the only way to bring us out of it is like through their method of creativity.
The concept of a new world order. A list of 8 pillars that their values are based around. The weird Illuminati-looking logo. All of this is packaged exactly like a cult. And although it seems obvious in hindsight, if you had merely stumbled upon it when scrolling online, you likely wouldn't even second guess it. This entire organization looks authentic. It pulls you in with its lengthy, seemingly well-researched reports and videos on important topics, led by experts who look legitimate. And it promises of a perfect world where you can be free, if only you spread the message. And somehow, it's actually working. Plastered all over their website are image after image after image, depicting everyday people posing with Creative Society paraphernalia. From what it seems, this group is utilizing their appearance to wiggle their way into various climate expos, US-based business conventions, and even medical offices. This, combined with their immensely aggressive social media presence, in which their videos are spammed on nearly every platform you can think of, gives insight into why so many around the world have found their cause. Like with everything else, they carry the appearance of doing a net good for the world. However, as I sit here writing this, I am honestly more confused than ever, because...
Chat, îmi pare rău, nu ne mai uităm la videoclipul ăsta, până aici ne-am uitat, pentru că Victor Tatu vrea să ne uităm la Bie și Alin la prank-ul nou. Bun, hai că am închis videoclipul ăsta. Ne uităm la Bie și Alin, puneți-vă bine pe spate.
Quite literally none of this makes any sense. So far, we've seen 2 interconnected climate activist groups that are very clearly peddling more than they've let on. Doing any sort of surface-level research into any of them reveals that their claims are extraordinary. They distort science, fabricate their credibility, and even on the Creative Society's website, they go on about a utopian new world order. Either none of these people are doing any research into the organizations they're so outwardly supporting, or they are, and I'm just the crazy one that doesn't see their vision. To me, the entire existence and support of the creative society is one massive paradox.
Bă, dar știi ce nu înțeleg eu? Știi ce nu înțeleg eu? Oamenii ăștia au un Discord unde își pun clipurile să intre, să le dea comentarii de gen de suport. Gen, astăzi, uite, hey, Creative Society, astăzi am postat videoclipul ăsta pe YouTube. Intrați și voi, dați un like, share, un subscribe și un comentariu dacă v-a plăcut.
People should be writing them off. So, what really is going on here?
Că unii nu-s boți, gen.
Upon scouring the net for any information about this group, I happened upon an article written in 2022 on BBC.com. Penned by two climate disinformation reporters named Marco Silva and Marilyn Thomas, they dive into, of all things, how the creative society is fraudulent. They explain how several high-profile scientists were, at one point, invited to speak at their online events, mistakenly believing that they'd be educating the public, only to have their words entirely twisted. They claimed that video footage was edited to remove any mention of the human causes of climate change, instead framing them as if they agreed with the creative society's outlandish views. Since then, these fraudulent videos have been blasted across their socials, fueling propaganda and continuing to attract more and more of the general populace to their cause. It's clear that this toxic combination of distortion and dissemination is what's quietly elevating them to prominence. But even still, there's a question brimming in the back of my mind. Who exactly is behind all of this? On their website, the Creative Society simply states that there's no one person funding or directing them. It's all just this undulating network of volunteers banding together to change humanity.
Îți dai seama, frate, ești nebun? Ce s-a gândit unul într-o zi? Bă, frate, vreau să fac bani. Cum fac cel mai ușor bani fără să ridic un deget? Inventez un cult unde totul e frumos, totul e bine, trebuie să refacem pacea mondială, ordinea mondială și scopul și tot misterul din spatele cultului ăsta este că o influență cosmică cauzează climate change-ul. Și vin o grămadă de oameni care, bă, dai dreptate, frate, ești nebun, așa este. Și dau bani, donează. Easy, as that. Tu stai pe spate cu bani de la oameni.
However, it's when we scour the BBC article when we'll find that isn't exactly true. Within it, they name drop a man, someone who's been affiliated with the Creative Society and shows up throughout the bulk of their online presence. In fact, it's a man who you've already seen several times throughout this video, hosting their conferences, introducing their YouTube videos, speaking on their network of over 200 channels across thousands of videos.
Wow.
He doesn't exactly hide himself, but he...
Așa vor ăștia să facă planeta. Fii atent, zici că e Aiken City, bro. Legit zici că e Aiken City. Exact așa voia Aiken să fie, gen orașul lui. Aiken City. Uite acolo. Wakanda. Wakanda, stai. Ăsta trebuia să fie Aiken City. Știți cum e Aiken City acum? De fapt? Stați așa că vă arăt. Ăsta e Aiken City. Și tot ce s-a făcut din Aiken City. Bă, ideea a fost acolo. Ideea a fost acolo. S-o ținut de blueprint, să zic. S-o ținut de blueprint. S-o ținut. S-o ținut. Nu pot să zic nu.
Remains just distant and unfamiliar enough to the average person to not arouse suspicion and to coordinate things from behind the scenes. His name is Igor Mikhailovich Danilov, formerly a chiropractor, now the leader of the Creative
De la chiropractor la liderul Creative Society, e crazy.
Society, and someone who's also listed as the leading figure in a Ukrainian spiritual movement, which... Hold on. Alatra is known for promoting pseudoscience and wild conspiracy theories involving aliens and secretive powerful elites that sacrifice children.
What? It gets deeper.
That is an absolutely insane statement, but that name, we've seen
The
that
Big
name
Film
before.
Tepu, mersi frumos, bro, donație.
We've seen that name before.
Alatra. Alatra's warning came true.
Right under our nose, a group has been operating. And upon digging into them further and cross-referencing them with the Earth Save Science Collaborative and the Creative Society,
Black
it's
Julia, mersi frumos de membru.
everything we've covered up to this point was nothing but a front. A funnel to the real core of this rabbit hole. Alatra.
What the fuck, bro? Bă, na, e crazy. Videoclipul ăsta, pe bune, este unul dintre cele mai crazy videoclipuri pe care le-am văzut lejer în viața mea și rabbit hole-ul ăsta. Deci tot ce am văzut până acum, Egon Celachian cu pozele respective. Și eu te iubesc, Alberto. Cel mai tare te iubesc pe tine. Pozele alea cu femeia aia. Cărțile care nu au nume. 2 microfoane. 3 ore jumate nu s-o mișcat și și-o ținut mâinile în același loc. Creative Society, absolut toate TikTok-urile au fost doar o fațadă pentru Alatra. Și ce dracu e Alatra? Girls? Ce zice acolo? Girls are in constant fear and therefore they are not very in control. Știu schițoarcul de la Destiny.
Hidden within every climate report and embedded in every viral video are endless references to something called Alatra, an organization which, as it turns out, has much deeper and more expansive roots than anything we've seen so far. They're the ones behind the Creative Society project, the ones paying Egon Celachian to lobby in the US government, the true puppet master behind this sprawling network of interconnected accounts that are quietly taking over the internet. While up to this point, we've seen the prior groups spreading misinformation and outlandish ideas, what Alatra truly believes at their core is so far out there, so off the rails, that I struggle to comprehend how they've ever been taken seriously. According to the videos on their vast network of YouTube channels, they sincerely believe that humans are capable of telepathy and have conducted several experiments using a walk-in pyramid where volunteers transmit symbols with, and have conducted several experiments using a walk-in pyramid.
O făcut o piramidă, îl bagă pomul ăla în piramidă și ce, arată un desen și ăla își dă seama ce desen arată?
Where volunteers transmit symbols with their minds in front of a live audience. They have videos showing members taking photographs of their thoughts.
Alex, dă-mi un mesaj pe Instagram, bro, cu numărul comenzii. Bro, vă rog frumos, dați-i ban lui Victor Tato, please. Ban, smite him, get him the fuck out.
Soul coming from space. Even podcast appearances where they talk about aliens living among us.
Considering the level of their development, the Apexians had already colonized millions and millions of planets by that time. And naturally, they had developed methods of working with humanoids like us, right? So they took the simplest option. They elevated themselves to the rank of God.
Naturally, on their website, they mention none of this, instead describing themselves with the familiar spiel we know all too well by now. Volunteers across 180 countries, nanoplastics, the usual. It's when we take a look at their About page, though, when we're able to spot something strange. Taking up nearly half of this page is a massive section about a supposed defamation campaign enacted upon Alatra by a group called the Russian Association of Centers for Religious Insect Studies, or RACERS for short. Alatra claims that this group sought to tarnish its
What?
image,
Race ce?
or RACERS for short.
Racers. Bro, e cam close.
Alatra claims that this group sought to tarnish its image by accusing them of believing in ideologies laid out in so-called fiction books that they once published. Furthermore, they go on to claim that they are absolutely not an apocalyptic cult and that all rhetoric supporting this is intentionally trying to discredit them. You know, it's funny they say that because we kind of already had an idea. If the alien beliefs and weird telepathic experiments weren't enough to give it away, then them outright claiming that they're not a cult, guys, they're not a cult, is a bit of a dead giveaway. But I digress. With this in mind, I did some digging into Alatra itself and stumbled upon
What the fuck?
On a trove of information about their early years. I know I sound like a broken record when I say this, but even with everything we've seen them peddle so far, things still get stranger.
Vine Alatra după mine.
In their early years, Alatra was born as nothing more than a publishing house, releasing novels penned by an author named Anastasia Novik. These books are highly spiritual and feature a being named Rigdon Japo, who's a sort of prophet for Alatra. Supposedly, he's been reincarnated. He can teleport, read minds, and displays numerous other superhuman abilities. Exactly the kind that they're trying to replicate in the pyramid videos.
What the fuck?
In essence, he's their version of Jesus, and some of the books even read like religious texts, containing conversations between Japo and Novik, where he relays the word of their god, a disembodied voice named Alat, to the reader. The most interesting part about Japo, though, has nothing to do with his supernatural behavior, but rather his job. In their very first book, dating way back,
Deci Dumnezeul lor are job. Dumnezeul lor are job. Care-i atunci zi? Scuza voastră chat. De sunteți neangajați. Dacă pune și Dumnezeul lor are job.
Back to 2003, he's introduced in his earthly form as a martial arts teacher in... Well, would you look at that?
Și chiropractor. Deci... Da, Dumnezeu e chiropractor, frate, face TikTok-uri și face pe TikTok. Pușcă mușii și ca să vândă din astea, ca să vândă chiropractor cursuri.
His students call him sensei, but on more than one occasion, he is directly referred to by the name Igor Mikhailovich.
Chat.
While Alatra may have passed these books off as mere works of fiction, the inclusion of Igor Danilov is very real. This man, to this day, is convincing thousands to follow him. He professes the ideas baked into these novels in his troves of YouTube videos and on every Alatra website, and he can...
Wow! Ui, acolo ce ochi are. Clipește invers, ca Zuc.
These novels in his troves of YouTube videos and on every Alatra website, and he convinces humans that they're capable of doing things that are physically impossible. At this point, we've transcended the realm of pseudoscience and societal manipulation, because this man, Igor Danilov, is trying to be a prophet. A warped, twisted, and disturbed prophet, leveraging his power behind the scenes to not only control people, but to enact some of the most disgusting acts imaginable.
Au făcut orgii. Igor Danilov conducts orgies with Creative Society girls. Crazy, bro. What the fuck? Pap.
Девушки находятся в постоянном страхе, и поэтому они очень контролируют, что они говорят, как, и, конечно же, никому ничего нельзя рассказывать.
Добрый вечер. Я очень благодарна, что вы вышли со мной на связь. Я понимаю, что время у нас довольно ограничено, поэтому давайте пройдемся по тем вопросам, которые бы хотелось, ответы на которые хотелось бы общественности показать.
The video you're currently watching is an interview between a Russian journalist named Elena Namlieva and one of Igor Danilov's former so-called heavenly birds. In fear of retaliation, her identity has been concealed. However, the information she provides gives us an eerie look into his other ventures. In this interview, the woman explains that Igor, joined by other cult members, would regularly partake in group intercourse with upwards of 13 women at a time.
Jesus.
These women, as far as she knew, ranged anywhere from 20 to 40 years in age, and these acts were supposedly meant to cleanse their spirit. Igor Danilov, being the group's prophet, would utilize his power to coerce them into participating, and if they refused, resisted, or told anyone about what was happening behind closed doors, then he would convince them that their soul is all but damned to hell. You're either with us and remain silent, or are against us and are siding with Satan, he would claim. An unthinkable form of psychological manipulation that has kept women silent,
Lungu e doar te pup rege.
obedient, and entangled in Danilov's web for years.
Конечно, это постоянно девушек держит в страхе. То есть, я говорю, это не в открытую происходит, но это постоянно фоном, да, проходит сквозь все беседы, сквозь все встречи, что или ты с нами, или ты попадаешь в ад и будешь вечно расплачиваться и страдать.
Știu, Laurențiu, mă minunez pentru că clipul ăsta și toată conspirația asta o porni de undeva de nu te așteptai niciodată.
As details about Danilov's actions trickled out over the years, investigations into Alatra began to ramp up. In 2023, the Ukrainian Orthodox Church allegedly became so concerned about this group that they labeled them a psycho cult, while simultaneously Russia also declared their activities undesirable. Their controversial beliefs, psychological manipulation and coercion, and worshipping their leader as if he was some kind of messiah were starting to cause concern. And with the member base growing day by day, Alatra was rapidly morphing from the appearance of an innocent climate-focused organization into a legitimate global threat.
Crazy.
In August of that year, Ukrainian forces organized a series of raids on the homes of Alatra's key members. They scoured Ukraine from top to bottom and followed every lead they had, no matter how insignificant. More than 20 cells were broken up. Yet, surprisingly, Danilov was nowhere to be seen. While the case, though, they weren't entirely empty-handed, as what they found instead was so unexpected, so completely out of left field that it turns this entire movement on its head. Inside one of their compounds, Ukrainian authorities uncovered an array of weapons, religious texts,
What the fuck?
and
E o poză cu Putin pe care scrie 2018 și are ochelari de soare Putin. Lângă o poză cu ce ar trebui să fie gen Iisusul lor? Dumnezeul lor, I guess?
a myriad of blurred red objects.
Huh?
Interesting.
Lungu e doar cu 6 cărămii este pub rege. Casey e regele pe bune. Cel mai tare streamer.
Well, good thing there's a video. So, let's see.
Nu-mi zic că e șapcă maga. Dacă sponsorizați de Egon Ciolachian. Chiar e șapcă Trump.
All throughout this compound are not only shrines dedicated to Vladimir Putin, but Trump hats everywhere. This is why they're creating account after account, specializing in nearly every country in the world to spread their message. This is why they're paying Egon Ciolachian to cozy up to any major governmental figure he can. This is why they've spread to California and have launched a trendy new YouTube channel for a fresh American audience. These people will not stop their efforts until they land someone inside the White House and beyond. And you wouldn't believe it, but they're well on their way there.
I am running for President of the United States of America to give power back to the people and build a creative society worldwide.
Wow!
It turns out that former football coach and presidential candidate Robbie Wells has been associated with Alatra in the creative society since 2019, running for office, circulating the same rhetoric about a universal basic income, using every social media account to deliver pro-Alatra, pro-Putin conspiracies to his followers. Pastor Mark Burns, the man who just helped erect the golden statue of Trump, also has video after video spanning every one of his socials, supporting Alatra's cause. And most insane of all, even the Pope has given Alatra his blessing, something they make absolutely sure to boast about on their website. These activities, these attempts at gaining access to major governments across the world are happening right under our nose, and no one, besides a handful of people dedicated to following Aegon's trail, are talking about any of this.
Insane, bro. Insane. Nu mă așteptam la asta niciodată. Ești nebun? Bro, tu îți dai seama câte căcaturi se întâmplă în timpul ăsta și noi nici măcar nu ne dăm seama. Poate că vedem niște chestii random pe YouTube și ni se par gen foarte normale, dar de fapt sunt mega fucking propagandă pentru nu știu cine, de nu știu unde, care e legat cu nu știu cine. Nu poți să ai încredere în absolut nimic, mă jur.
Ahoj přátelé, vítám vás z Afriky. Je to tady naprosto fantastický. Zrovna jsem přišel do vesnice. Hello, Klára! Tohle je jedna z mých hlavních pomocnic.
Allow me to introduce you to Jakob Jarl, a journalist, YouTuber, and qualified expert in cults, dedicating his life's work to exposing them and the plethora of sophisticated techniques they use to manipulate their followers. He's also a humanitarian, having spent numerous years volunteering in Africa, traveling to communities like the town of Moshi, Tanzania, where he helped to provide education and support to people in less privileged situations than his own.
Care era gen connected cu Epstein.
At least, that's what he says he does.
Never mind, ignorați că am zis W-Guy. Ignorați că am zis W-Guy. Oh my god, am zis W-Guy, bro.
Across YouTube are numerous near-identical documentaries that provide a much more sinister look into Jakob's supposed activities in Tanzania. Satanist in Africa. From charity to child
W-Guy, W-Guy, cum a fost aia cu videoclipul ăla cu lui Stan, nu trebuie oprit. Futu-te în gură, duțule. Lungul Edward, te pup, bro, mersi frumos de donație. Noapte bună, noapte bună.
The victims told the truth. Why is Jakob Jarl still free? These productions span hours and appear to be entirely legitimate documentaries. They're presented by verifiable hosts who have taken to the streets of Moshi to interview locals who'd like to expose the truth. That Jakob Jarl is a liar, a deviant, and that he secretly and covertly conducted an undercover operation to abuse and brainwash children in Africa.
Jesus.
This case is so disturbing, so repulsive, that all over TikTok to this day are hundreds upon hundreds of videos spreading the word about this monster that has seemingly been hiding under the radar for years.
This horrible human being who abused kids in Tanzania. His name is Jakob Jarl. He is from Czech Republic. He came to Tanzania.
Just take a look what this predator, Jakob Jarl, who African
Bro, cum arată? Uite-te și tu la el, ce față are, să mor eu.
kids is saying.
Jakob Jarl raised thousands of euros, claiming it was to help children in Tanzania, and then he used this money to brutally abuse them.
Damn. Yeah, fuck this guy.
This account, Ollie Climate Girl, is one of hundreds spreading the Jakob Jarl story. Which is fine. It's good to get the word out. The part that isn't fine, though, is that this very account has already shown up in this video.
Da, l-am văzut, l-am mai văzut odată. Am zis eu că e AI. What? Deci e W-Guy ăsta până la urmă și ăștia fac propagandă.
Jakob Jarl never did any of this.
Este W-Guy!
Completely fabricated.
Este W-Guy! Și-au făcut ăștia din la latra clipuri despre el.
The endless support of them, entirely manufactured. Every bit of information we've learned about Jakob up to this point has been nothing but what Alatra wants us to know about him.
What?
Because just a few years ago, Jakob did something to absolutely enrage them.
Te pup, Ivancea. Ce comeback odată. Ce comeback odată Jakub
In
Jahar.
2023, Jakob Jol was one of a number of Czech journalists working to expose Alatra's activities. Turns out that he was instrumental in locating one of Igor Danilov's hideouts. And because of his meddling, he's now facing a coordinated smear campaign, essentially painting him as the devil. Unfortunately, it's difficult to parse who exactly is connected to Alatra and who isn't when it comes to their comment sections. They've amassed hundreds of them across their various uploads, and the overall sentiment ranges from unapologetic support to cautious skepticism. From what it seems, this massive psyop they're pushing is working in some capacity, as it's even caused the Czech government themselves to step in and investigate Jakub for these claims. It took years before he was exonerated, and while today he's thankful for it, the mental toll it took on him, combined with the internet's collective outrage about him doing things he never would have even imagined doing, all of it had unfortunately put him in an extremely dark place.
Hello, this is Pastor Mark Burns, spiritual advisor to President Donald Trump, and I want to tell you, I'm here in the Tanzania embassy right now. Just had a wonderful, productive meeting. Jakub is not going to get away with the evil and the atrocities that has been done to these children. So let's continue to pray. Let's continue to fight. Let's continue to tell the world that justice is coming. Jakub, you won't get away with this.
To this day, if you look up Jakub Jol on any search engine or social media platform, you'll find video after video painting him out to be a monster. It is an absolute travesty, and that's exactly how Alatra wants it.
It's interesting. I don't know if you know, but this summer holidays, Alatra is again visiting Tanzania. They're going there with like 20 volunteers for 2 weeks. And you know why they do it? Because the children we were helping, they discovered all their orphanages. And now they're getting into the orphanages. Of course, when they give those people money, you know, of course they will take it and they will be happy. So now they're going there and visiting those children we cared for years. And they're visiting them, and they will try turning them into this Alatra member in the future.
Wow!
You know? They have like this whole campaign, and that's the real torture thing, right. You know, because they can't hurt me with lies when I know it's a lie, you know. But they can hurt me with those children we helped them medically, we put them in school, and now they go there. You know, now they made all those people crazy. You know, they're spreading those things, so I can't visit Tanzania anymore. So I can never visit them again, the children, nor any of the volunteers. We like traveled there with a bunch of people for years. Bro? We cared for all of them. No one can visit them anymore, and all of those children are getting indoctrinated into Alatra cult now.
Now that you're saying that, I had never considered that as one of the negative effects that Alatra has had on people.
Bro, dar tu îți dai seama, Nexpo că a făcut documentarul ăsta care o să ajungă extraordinar de viral, are deja 3 milioane, bro, 3 milioane în 2 zile și o grămadă de oameni au reacționat la el și videoclipurile respective au făcut milioane de views, plus tot short form contentul de pe... Efectiv toată lumea o să știe acum despre Alatra ăștia. It's over for them, gen. Sunt curios oare... Și sper din tot sufletul să nu facă nimica, dar mă zic așa, Nexpo ăsta nu e frică, bro, să facă clipuri din astea despre culturi și despre oameni de ăștia dubioși și rău de tot?
That, I will say, is probably one of the most grim out of everything, and I never knew that, so thank you for bringing that up, because I want more people to know about this.
Yeah, so that's like the real thing that's hurting me. That's the only thing I can't like be laughing about. But the other things that they... Okay, so they will kill me somewhere, you know? That's like something I can laugh about because I don't care so much anymore when I know that it's much more important to fight against them. But this is something that hurts me, and I also feel guilty because if I would not visit those children and would not investigate cults, they would not be indoctrinated by this crazy cult that's now targeting them.
Wow.
At the end of all of this, I'm simply left feeling shocked. Shocked at the fact that something so random, so minuscule, a simple live stream by Destiny and a Reddit post to accompany it could morph into something so far from where we started. This entire time, Aegon Shalakian has been nothing but a cog in a much greater machine. A fraud in so many aspects of his life. Alatra to this day is operating around the world and is doing everything they can to entangle themselves in world governments to further their cause. Like with Robbie Wells, and to entangle themselves in world governments to further their cause.
Alatra TV România.
Like with Robbie Wells and Mark Burns, their strategies have been undeniably effective. However, I believe that shining a spotlight on groups like this can truly help prevent them from weaseling their way into where they don't belong. What they've unleashed upon Jakob Jarl and the handful of other journalists that have exposed them is cruel and inhumane, and it reveals to me just how effective the internet can be at swaying public opinion. If you had never watched this video and had randomly stumbled upon Jakob's story, I wouldn't fault you for believing everything that Alatra has been peddling. I wouldn't fault you for believing their climate disaster reports, considering the changes our planet's seen in the past few decades. And I wouldn't fault you for giving these people credibility, given the seemingly endless images and videos depicting them with powerful figures. While Igor Danilov to this day remains at large, his group continues to operate in capacities that I still don't fully understand. Who knows how many women are still under his grasp, worshipping him as something he isn't, coerced into satisfying him whenever he demands it, and being tormented into an agonizing silence. I can only hope that someday they wake up and realize how fraudulent everything about Alatra truly is.
Abonați sunt Simion Georgescu și așa că știe stegarul dacă. As of production, Alatra is scrapping their online presence. Their website and YouTube channels have undergone mass deletion for unknown reason. O șters tot! O șters tot! 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 Alatra TV România. Dau puțin mai jos aici la shorts. Cine-i aici? Alatra România.
Micro și nanoplasticele, poluând oceanul și atmosfera, intervin în procesele de schimb de căldură.
Stai, ce zice aici? Ce zice aici? Că n-am apucat să citesc. While Igor Danilov remains at large, he is believed to be hiding out with numerous women somewhere in Slovakia. Numerous online researchers have contacted colleagues of Egon Cholakian. I have no recollection of ever meeting Egon Cholakian. This photo might be genuine as people have often asked me for a photograph. Ok. Deci nu știe de Egon Cholakian. He has misspelled my name. Wow. Bun video, bro, wow. Genial video. Genial videoclip, genial videoclip, W video, bro. W video, W Nexpo, W Nexpo. Vreau să vă arăt acum puțin doar puțin, doar puțin. Destiny Schizo Arc. Din videoclipul ăsta. Kino Edit, ăsta cred că este, nu? Care e originalul, bro? Cred că ăsta e Kino Edit.
It feels like I'm like moving against something, or that there's something like moving against me that
Eu
I haven't ever really been cognizant of before. I haven't put together all of this in any formal sense. It's just been bouncing around my head. So, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to because I don't even know if I should, for a variety of reasons that I'm not going to get into. So, for example, there were dozens of different accounts, and some of them they're generally programmed, I think, to only respond to themselves, so that they build engagement. They look real. It's okay. I don't think any of these
Destiny
are real.
E un terminat mare, da.
Real. Okay.
E un terminat mare, de ce știu eu de Egon Ciolachian. Spionul Dinu, te pup, Dinu. Mi-am cumpărat metal și mă apuc de videoclipuri, mulțumesc frumos de spate. Aia zic. Da, boliu, bro. Așteptăm primul clip, să mi-l dai să reacționăm la el. Mersi frumos de donație. Și spor la clipuri.
They talk about sports. They look sophisticated, okay? They do. I don't think this is a real person. I don't think it's a real person. I don't think so. This guy who's not real. He's not real. No better way to start off the day, okay? This is a white foot. This is not real. And you can find this was posted in 2024, okay, on Twitter, okay? This came from Reddit. This is a Reddit comment from 2 years ago. All right? This is not a real person. All right? He's not real. This is not a real person. But I'm pretty sure that if you look at
Stai așa să dau la partea asta interesantă.
But then I'm looking at this and I'm like,
stai să dau la partea asta.
Is he real? Is it real? Look at the background pictures.
Băi, crazy editul ăsta.
Wait. I can't tell if I'm mind myself. Maybe it's just low resolution?
Am intrat în Paint.
Bro, I'm losing my mind. What is this? Look at the book names. They don't have names. They don't have any names. They don't have any names. Nothing looks right in this. Is he posing for a picture? It's real photo. Wait, are these hands real?
Schizo Arc, bro.
I don't know what I'm looking.
Așa mă simt eu când mă uit la Trăistariu.
Right now.
Așa mă simt când mă uit la Trăistariu.
The faces are at the exact same angle. People are saying it's like the exact same face. Is it though?
Bro.
Hold on. Oh no. Wait. It is fake. This is a fake picture. Oh shit. I'm trying not to go full schizo on this. I feel
Da, crazy.